Have you ever found yourself wondering if there could be more to life than what you're experiencing? Maybe you've caught yourself wishing for blessings to pour down, to finally achieve everything you've planned and prayed for. It's a common feeling, right? We all have aspirations and goals, and naturally, we work hard to see them come to fruition. But let's be honest, sometimes things don't go according to plan. When our efforts falter, disappointment creeps in, and it's all too easy to feel like a failure. But here's something to consider. Why stress over what seems like setbacks? Why judge your life's worth based only on material gains or visible achievements? There's a deeper measure to life's blessings that often goes unnoticed. Have you ever thought that maybe, just maybe, you're looking at it all wrong? Consider this. What if you could see your life through a different lens? What if you could understand that the timing of every success and every challenge was perfect? It's a perspective rooted deep in faith, specifically in trusting God's timing. It's not just about having goals and aspirations. That's important, of course. But what if you're missing a key ingredient? That ingredient is God's presence in your plans. When you allow God into your life's equation, you aren't just walking a path you've carved out alone. You're guided, supported, and strengthened. The Bible explains it well in Proverbs, chapter 3, verses 5 to 6. It says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your path straight." Imagine a life where your path is straight, free from unnecessary obstacles and wild turns. Think about moving forward, not just with your own strength, but with divine guidance, clearing the way ahead of potential pitfalls and negative influences. It's about more than just avoiding trouble. It's about embracing a journey that's designed for your ultimate success. But it's not common practice, is it? Few of us really include God in our daily plans. Yet, when you do, something remarkable happens. Your view of what it means to be blessed transforms. It's no longer just about wealth or status. It becomes about peace, wisdom, and living a life in sync with a greater purpose. So, why not start today? Step back from the rush and the hustle. Slow down and consider a new way forward, one where you trust more and worry less. After all, there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. Ecclesiastes 3, verse 1. Yes, even a time to be blessed. Are you ready to experience what that truly feels like? Ever felt like you're constantly racing against time, trying to make everything work out just as you've planned? It's exhausting, isn't it? The pressure to achieve, to meet every expectation, can weigh you down like a heavy backpack during a steep climb. But what if I told you there's a different way to handle all this? A way that lifts the burden and lets you breathe a bit easier. Imagine handing over all your worries and plans to someone who knows the future. Sounds relieving, right? That's exactly what happens when you surrender your life to God. By doing so, you aren't just dumping your worries onto someone else. You're placing them in the hands of God, whose timing and planning are perfect. This doesn't mean you stop planning or working hard, but it does mean you stop the endless worrying about outcomes. You see, God's plans for you are bigger and better than anything you could dream up. He knows the perfect timing for everything in your life. When you should meet your life partner, start a new job, or make a big move. It's written in the Bible, in Isaiah 55, verses 10 to 11. As the rain and the snow come down from heaven and do not return to it without watering the earth and making it bud and flourish, so is my word that goes out from my mouth. It will not return to me empty, but will accomplish what I desire and achieve the purpose for which I sent it. Here's a different story that captures this idea. Imagine a young woman named Sarah who had been job hunting for months with no success. She was skilled and qualified, but every interview seemed to end with, "We'll call you," and then silence. One day, feeling particularly low, she reached out to an old friend for advice. The friend reminded her of God's timing and encouraged her to trust in it. That very afternoon, Sarah received a call for an interview at a company she hadn't even applied to. A friend had recommended her. She got the job, and it was better suited to her skills than any she had applied for. This story highlights how sometimes human efforts can fall short, and how things can unexpectedly work out when you trust in a higher plan. We often try to force things to make them fit our own timeline, but we're reminded in Proverbs 19, verse 21, "Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails." Trusting God's timing can take a weight off your shoulders. You no longer need to be crushed under the anxiety of what if and when. You can live day by day, moment by moment, knowing that what is meant for you won't miss you. And isn't there a profound peace in that? A peace in knowing that you don't have to have all the answers because you're connected to the one who does. And just think about it. God, who provides for the birds of the air and the fish in the sea, isn't going to forget about you. You're created in His image, cherished and valued beyond measure. He's your shepherd, as Psalm 23 says, and with Him you will not lack. Here's another thing to consider. God is never late. We see this through the story of Lazarus in the Bible. When Lazarus was sick, his sisters Mary and Martha sent for Jesus, expecting Him to come right away, but He didn't. He arrived days later, after Lazarus had already died. To the sisters, it seemed too late, but Jesus had a bigger plan, to show His power over death, not just sickness. So when you feel like God's timing is off, remember Lazarus. Jesus wasn't late. He was right on time for the miracle that was needed. That delay might just be setting the stage for a greater revelation in your life. It might be preparing you for more than you could handle right now. God's timing might mean that some doors close, but it's not to disappoint you. It's to guide you to the right ones. And when the right door opens, it'll be better than you could have opened on your own. So why not choose to trust in that? To rest in the assurance that when you let God lead, you're walking the best path possible. Even if it's tough to see right now, even if you're anxious about what's coming next, remember, His ways are higher, His knowledge deeper, and His plans better. Start each day with this trust. Let it be your strength and comfort. Write down His promises, believe them, and watch patiently as they unfold in your life. You might just find that this trust frees you up to enjoy the journey, knowing the destination is well worth the wait. Imagine this. You're sitting there, watching everyone around you moving forward. Friends are landing dream jobs, finding their partners, or even buying houses. It's easy to feel left behind, isn't it? You might start wondering when it's going to be your turn, when you'll catch that break you've been praying for. But here's a comforting thought from Psalm 37, verses 7 to 9. Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Do not fret when people succeed in their ways, when they carry out their wicked schemes. Refrain from anger and turn from wrath. Do not fret. It leads only to evil. For those who are evil will be destroyed, but those who hope in the Lord will inherit the land. These words aren't just a gentle reminder, they are a powerful promise. When you place your trust in God's timing, you're promised an inheritance, a place, and a peace designed just for you. It means that even if you're the last one in your circle to reach a milestone, what's waiting for you is tailored to fit your life perfectly. It will be more satisfying because it's divinely appointed. Now, trusting isn't always easy, especially when you're eager to move forward. It's like being in a fog where you can't see 2 steps ahead, but you keep walking because you know the path is there. Remember, God is working behind the scenes. He never sleeps or slumbers, and his ears are always open to your calls. Just because you can't see the work happening doesn't mean it isn't. Sometimes the struggle is in the waiting. You might think, if I just had this or that, I'd be happy. But true contentment comes from believing that God has not forgotten you. His hands aren't too short to save, nor his ears too dull to hear, as the Bible reassures us. This means that every prayer, every sigh of frustration, and every hope is heard and held by him. And then there's obedience, a key part of this whole trust journey. It's one thing to say you trust God, but do you follow his directions even when they seem tough? Think about it like following a recipe. If you skip a step because it seems too hard or it takes too long, the whole dish doesn't turn out right. The story of King Saul is a stern warning here. He didn't fully obey God's command to destroy the Amalekites and ended up facing grave consequences. Partial obedience isn't enough. So, how do you practice this obedience? It starts with listening. When God nudges your heart to move in a certain direction, take that step, even if it's small. Each act of obedience is a step towards that promise of inheriting the land. It's about aligning your actions with God's plans, which are always bigger and better than you can imagine. Let this assurance sink in. As you trust in God's timing, not only will you inherit blessings, but you will also experience the joy and peace that come from walking in sync with his will. It turns your waiting into a journey of growth and your moments of doubt into lessons of faith. Keep holding on, keep believing, and keep moving forward at his pace, not yours. After all, the best is yet to come, and it will come right on time.